Hello everyone, this is Gladness Cole. I'm from Tanzania. I reside in Scotland, in Edinburgh at the moment, and I'm an active member of ACSS in Scotland. And I would like to just share a little bit of my experience as a Tanzanian living abroad, and I've got three grown-up children, and I just want to share a little bit of experience that I had bringing these amazing, wonderful people, and just for, I don't know, it could be helpful to a new mother perhaps, or maybe even for the people who just moved straight from home, or people who currently they've always been here and they've got their children, they've got their challenges, or but just overall, just sharing. And so I've left home 2007, and at that point my children's were, the youngest one was 4 years old, and my middle one was 7, and my eldest was just 13. So we've been out of Tanzania now for over 10 years. And the experience I had bringing these amazing people out of my country. Well, what we had in Tanzania, of course, is completely different. We had sense of community. Most of you would agree, coming from home, you don't really raise your child on your own. The whole community support you in raising your children. And my first post moving from Tanzania was in Istanbul, in Turkey. And in terms of raising children there, I have to say I found it was, even though it was a culture shock, but the Turkish have that culture of almost like looking after each other. It's very community sort of based kind of thing. So I never really felt like I was on, even though most of things, of course, practical things, I still had to get on and just get on with it and deal with them as a mother by myself. But in terms of, for instance, if the child is in the street and misbehave themselves, and the neighbor would easily just jump in and just intervene, and I just make sure that whatever it is that she would have done to their own children, they would have done it to yours. So that went on for some times, which was good. So I still felt, even though it was not exactly like what I had back home in Tanzania, but just that a little bit of sense of community, that was something that I could relate and to what we had in Tanzania. So it wasn't easy, but I just had to kind of persevere and carry on with parenting. And and then we moved, after 6 years in Turkey, we moved to Edinburgh, and it was even tougher than I thought it would be. And mainly it's just because of the cultural and the interaction, and what would be considered as helping, supporting a parent back home, here will be the opposite. It will look like you interfering someone's business. So I carried my whole, me being me, coming from Africa. I would go like some place in the park, and I would see kids do certain things, and immediately I would just want to speak, and I had to learn very quickly that you have to keep your mouth shut. It's none of your business, and this is not Africa. However, I still use my platform as a mother, as a role model. Like, I still didn't want, even though I knew that my children, they didn't have exactly the same upbringing or the background that I had growing up. And I had to learn very quickly to understand their world or their way of being. Although I know they are proud African, they embrace their culture, they love their people, they love their motherlands. But these kids, because of the where they live, and how they grew up, and the school they go to, and the majority they interacted with, they have completely different upbringing. So that makes them, when you think about it, your children are at school all day, and when whatever it is that they pick it up there, that is their life. That is them, like they are African as much as they're much as African, they're much as Scottish as well as African. So they adapt to this new culture, and they have to fit in, they have to be accepted, they have to integrate just like everyone else. And as the African mother, I know I have been learning. This has been a very long journey. We have to try, it's not just like to accept. By accepting their way and meeting halfway, it doesn't necessarily mean that we have given up our culture. We still have a space. We can influence them to even more proud of our culture by taking a very positive approach. Because when you think about it, they spend more time in the culture they're living in, which is in Scotland. When they come back home, we have a very, very limited time with them. So that is the time that you have to have a very positive approach and interaction, and put the impact of your culture that you're really proud of, and they can take it in fully. But there is a lot of the way we communicate with our kids, the way we integrate with our kids, the morals that we have, they'll always be there. We can always influence, we can always impact those morals, but it doesn't have to be, we don't have to do it the way that we had it done back home. Back home we had it hard. I know there's a certain things that I know. For instance, I'll just give you a simple example that I don't remember ever in my whole entire life raising my voice, never even challenging anything. Even somehow, if I knew sometimes I had maybe my auntie or my mom or anyone who was older than me, somehow sometimes they were in wrong, but we were not given opportunity, or we were not encouraged to challenge any question. And as simple as that, children here, they can stand on your face and ask you why, and this is your own child. But for some parents coming from the background where I came from, like myself, where I understand those were not the things that we were encouraged or we were given opportunity to deal with, it could come across as our children are being really rude. And I think that's very wrong. So we should try by all means, as long as they're not swearing, as long as they're not rude on your face. If they're asking, if they want to interact, if they want some questions, try to stay really calm and understand their world and mix with a little bit with your world without discouraging them or putting them down, because it's I'm reflecting now, there's certain things that I'm sharing with my kids, and I'm asking them some of the aspects that they really didn't like about me, my way of parenting, and they just say sometimes I just that kind of raising a little bit of voice, but not in a bad intention. But I think that was just how it was done. It was just like you ask question, and rather than getting an answer, no one give you that time to answer your question, or to even encourage you, or to try to find out what exactly in your thinking, or you want to bring it up. So we shouldn't encourage our young people. We should try to encourage, and we should also try to understand this is not Africa. We brought Africa with us, and that will always be with us. But there's a lot of different positive way of encouraging our children who lived abroad to still enjoy this Scottish lifestyle, or Europe lifestyle, or UK or abroad lifestyle, as well as embracing their motherland and their culture. And another thing I've noticed, I know there's a lot of parents that you have this belief. I don't know where I came from, because my mother tongue is Swahili, and I remember my mother, she was dying for me to learn to speak English. She was like, oh my goodness, I have to learn English. And I'm thinking, when you're far away from home, you're on your own. You don't have the whole community to help you to raise your children. But one simple advice I can give it to you: those children they are still part of you. Your mother tongue is their identity. Teach them, encourage them, speak to them. One day, they might not show interest now, but by you carrying on, continuing, just teaching them and encourage them to speak, they have that part of them, that's identity. It's just a matter of time before they grow and realize that in this society, maybe they're not, they don't, they would want to find their roots one day or soon. So if they have that mother tongue, they can't just stand tall and be proud of what they have. They can also, and English, they can always learn English at school. They will learn English at school, but just encourage your mother tongue is so important. Try it, and I know we work extremely hard, but just try to create that little time and space to allow them to really bond with you and respect you and appreciate your culture. And I just wish you all the best in this journey, and I just hope you will enjoy the motherhood as much as I did, and keep safe. Love you all. Take care. Bye.